So I think we can all agree that January has been pretty anticlimactic. Yes, it's a green month nonetheless for ADA. We're up like 15% from the start of the month. Most assets in the space are seeing at least a little bit of green for the month of January, but it hasn't just quite had that umph, which is kind of strange because January tends to be a good month. We obviously have a new pro crypto administration, a US crypto embrace. These are big things that are obviously very, very beneficial for ADA. And really what I've kind of deciphered is that right now a lot of people are investing scared, and that is exactly what is showing in the data we're seeing today. There's a few things that I want to talk about heading into next week that may give us a bit of an indication of where things are headed. So if you guys are new or haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, hit that bell again. It's free to do. It'll keep you updated anytime there's new content live here on the channel. So just looking at ADA in general right now, we're floating around that 97, 98 cent range, and really where this kind of psychological level is sitting for ADA is right at about $1. If you guys haven't noticed, the last few times we've broken $1, we've gotten like just above it, but we don't really want to separate too far from it. And again, that's that psychology setting. And there's a lot of people that right now are just I don't want to say exhausted, but they're just waiting and waiting and waiting, right? And what we're seeing ADA right now do is really try to push towards the top of its trend. It wants to make a breakout here, and I'll talk about this a little bit more in just a moment. But really what we've seen over the last week here is a little bit of capitulation taking place. For example, 180 million tokens sold by whales just over the last week. So this is from holders that hold 100 million ADA to 1 billion ADA. But what we've actually seen is a little bit of redistribution here. So we've seen whale holdings drop by 1.68%, while mid-sized investors increase their stake by 1.6%. We've also seen retail traders expand their holdings by 0.72%. So a little bit of a kind of a redistribution going on where whales have been running hot. They've kind of cooled down now. I'm sure some of them took advantage of obviously this nice pump that we went on. And so what we're really trying to do here is set a nice higher floor. And what's interesting about this is we can in fact see this ADA volatility kind of cooling down and turning around. Obviously, we're sitting right on top of support here, which is at about 95 cents, which I'll talk about a little more in just a moment here. But what ADA is doing is we're fighting this trend, and then we may want to do one of those where we attack the top of this. Now, this isn't a guarantee or financial advice or anything like that, but really this low volume across the crypto market now dropping to $113 billion in daily trading volume, which is a drop of 44% over the last 24 hours, is a pretty big sign. Everybody's just watching, waiting, not a whole lot going on. And in fact, when we look at ADA, we don't often fall below $1 billion in daily trading volume right now, 688 billion over the last 24 hours. So what we're actually seeing right now is a low volume pullback. And for those that aren't familiar, a low volume pullback is a temporary decrease in the price of a stock or asset accompanied by a decrease in trading volume. It's a technical correction that can indicate the main trend will continue. So typically you push back towards support levels, which is exactly what ADA is doing right now, right at about this 95 cent support. You guys can see this is slowly but surely cooling down, pulling back on low volume, just as we've seen many times before. For example, when last few times ADA has done this, this was a low volume pullback right here. This was a low volume pullback right here. I'm not saying that we're going to absolutely just explode and boom or anything like that, but understand that while we're seeing this little bit of pullback here, social sentiment is on the rise. We're actually seeing posts and discussions on Twitter rising, YouTube viewership on the rise. I've definitely seen that increase. So the engagement and interest is there. What we're not just seeing yet is capital flock back in. And when we look at, for example, USDT dominance, look what's happening, right? We're seeing actually a little bit of capital bleed out of the market, just a little bit of uncertainty here from traders. And that's fine. That's not an uncommon thing. In fact, when we look at January of last year, even though, we had a blistering hot February and March and December, January, we witnessed kind of this same trend. We were, slowly but surely seeing capital and uncertainty, capital bleed out of the market, uncertainty fill into the market. And then we obviously know what happened to begin February. We saw this massive drop off in USDT dominance. We saw a lot of capital re-entering the space. And that may be what we're kind of pointing towards here, right? Now, this isn't a guarantee or financial advice or anything like that. And understand we are seeing some good signs from big players in the space. For example, institutional money, 7 days of consistent flows after we were dealing with a lot of those outflow days, right? That was causing a lot of questions and a lot of uncertainty and a lot of sell-offs in the crypto market. But yesterday, again, another big day, $517 million worth of BTC added by institutional players. So The big thing I think a lot of people are questioning is, is this BTC's top? Are we about to go on a major correction? Something like that, right? And actually, I talked about this in a SHIB video yesterday, and this was actually discussed by Benjamin Cohen. So big credit to him for deciphering this. But if you actually look at the BTC 200-day weekly SMA, all right, so the 200-week moving average there's an interesting correlation between when the market tops and this trend line, right? So what we tend to do is the market tends to top around the time that the 200-week moving average SMA actually crosses the prior cycle's all-time high. So for example, if we take a look here from 2017's high to when this 200-week SMA crosses, it's right at about the time that the market peaks. Rewind to the prior cycle, right? When the 200-day or 200-week moving average crosses the prior cycle's all-time high, you can see that's right about when the market tops, okay? This can be traced cycle after cycle, even when the 200 was finally put into, when it finally showed up on the charts, same thing, right? Cross, right? And that's about when we correct. So just taking a look at where we're at currently, guys, we're not even close. We're not even close to the market top, to the market high, right? Now understand that doesn't mean there's not going to be corrections along the way. We may get corrections. Who knows when they're going to happen, right? But this is where we're at currently. We're way down here at around 43K, meaning that we have to cover all this ground throughout this market cycle. And really what's interesting about this and what this points to is the latter part of 2025, like I've been talking about, kind of around that October timeframe. This, depending on how aggressively this approaches here, which BTC decides to take off here, it might hit it sooner, it might hit it later, but October is around that timeline that we're talking about. So, anybody that's talking about market tops and things falling back down, I don't know what to tell you. We got all the time in the world. Adoption is really just beginning. Obviously, interest is on the rise and it hasn't translated to buys yet. So what are things going to look like as we get to that point? Now, remember, next week, again, we have those major events like we talked about, and really we might just be waiting for a little bit of a catalyst in the market, something to kind of kick us into gear, something to either create a buying event in terms of FOMO or buying events in terms of discounts. That's why, some people have said, oh yeah, you're saying one way or the other. Well, yeah, right? We're waiting for a buying event. We're waiting for something to push us out of this blah that we're in and create new pushes towards highs. Okay. That's the biggest thing. When we get kind of dull in the market, you need something like that to happen, unless somebody's just going to flip the switch and start buying. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. That may seem, again, non-committal. I'm still macro bullish, as you guys can tell. I don't think we're even close to the top. And I think that ADA has a lot of run left in it throughout this cycle. So I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts below, but have a great day. Catch you guys in the next one. Take care.